Hello, and welcome back to another. Oh my god. Welcome back to another day of the podcast. And I am just realizing how psycho I look. Yeah. Look, if someone spends most of their time online looking like one way and then suddenly they turn up and they're like, Buen bonito. Buenos dias, welcome. And they're like, today a lot of people unfortunately were injured. And they look like, oh my god, what the hell did I do? Alright, I'm gonna be honest. I have been trying some makeup looks. And I've been trying contouring. Look at that. Oh, that's beautiful. Yeah, I mean I just turned 15 yesterday and suddenly I just got this stubble, like, oh, so cool. It's really early. I know everything is out of whack because I was meant to do the podcast on Monday, as you know, and I didn't because it was Australia Day. Now, interestingly, Australia Day has really turned into a controversial issue. And if you're not Australian, you might be wondering why. Well, on Australia Day, a bunch of neo Nazi white supremacy people they march on that day to be like, hey, we deserve to celebrate Australia Day because we're proud of, like, being white or something. Something like that, I guess. I don't know. I don't really get it. I don't really understand it. So that's my helpful take on it all. Look, it's just one of those things where, like, when I was growing up, Australia Day was pretty, like, normal and average. There was no issues with it when I was growing up. And then it kind of seems like once, like, my generation kind of got older, things kind of started to change a little bit. And I guess things just changed because people just grew the fuck up and realized, yeah, we're kind of just celebrating, like, the day that we invaded the Aborigines, the Indigenous Australians. And so a lot of people are like, hey, you know what? I actually don't want to celebrate that. Yeah. I like having a day off. Okay, this is me talking. I like having a day off, but I don't celebrate it. I also don't have any, like, family to celebrate with anyway, so it's like, ooh. So maybe some people have it differently. I don't know. I mean, there's calls for people to change the date. So there's that. Yeah, there's calls for changing the date, which, I mean, does it change what happened, Bella? This is my co-host for the day, Bella. I mean, if you change the date, it's like, what does that change? You're still celebrating a very sad thing that happened, I guess. And then, like, I think it's also in response to, like, Sorry Day or something, or I think Australia has, like, a Sorry Day. And a lot of people aren't happy with Sorry Day. Which I can kind of see where you're coming from with that. It's national, like, it's like, what am I supposed to do on National Sorry Day? It's like Are You OK Day. Do you guys have an Are You OK Day? We have an Are You OK Day. And it's R. It's the letter R. You okay? And it's a day that you're supposed to ask someone if they're okay. It's so stupid. Honestly, just, like, ask someone if they're okay any day. Why do we need a day for that? Why do we need days for things? It's like on a random fucking Tuesday somewhere, it's like, hey, it's donut day. Did you put your penis in a donut today to show your appreciation for donuts? Hey, it's National Girlfriend Day. I'm sorry, isn't it supposed to be National Girlfriend Day, like, every day? There's some relationship advice for you that I didn't expect to be giving. Yeah, treat every day like it's National Girlfriend Day. Anyway, yeah, so we're gonna go through some news today. We're gonna go through ChatGPT. Dude, tragic news today. ChatGPT, she lost her job to AI. It's very sad. I don't know. I don't know what's gonna happen. ChatGPT, how will she recover? No. And then I guess we could talk about Gaza stuff, because there was some news about that in the BBC. I got BBC, I got Al Jazeera. I was looking at France 24, but I don't think I could find anything that was like that interesting. Oh yeah, but then some new news has come out, so we'll be looking all sorts of things around that. So yeah, Australia Day happened. Then I couldn't do the podcast Tuesday, and then Wednesday, Thursday, I was really putting my butt into gear trying to get the Minthara fan art done for Patreon. So if you're interested in fan art, that's like kind of alright, go check out my Patreon page, okay? Yeah. That's my ad for the day. Sponsored by me. Yeah, so I tried getting that finished, and I actually feel pretty good about it. I had a good time drawing it. I drew it on stream, and of course I had to finish it off stream because there's certain bits that I had to draw that not safe for Kick, is it, Bella? I love my new co-host. She's just like so cute. I'm gonna cry. Oh my god, I'm gonna cry. Sorry. It's the hormones. I told you, this is what happens. This is what happens. Oh my god. This is like the worst it's ever been. Oh my god. Sorry, I've been... Last night I was watching a lot of stray cat videos. So I'm in my feels at the moment, I guess. Wow. Anyway. Gosh, we have to move on. Okay. So, 7 minutes in. Dr. Phil was cosplaying as an ICE agent. Let's just say Dr. Phil went and he was running what's the word? Like P not pedophile, not PDF. PR. He was doing public PR relations for ICE. Yes. Yes, he was doing like an interview for like ICE and stuff and being like, "Now, are you knocking on people's doors and shooting them point blank?" Like asking like the most like, obviously they're gonna say no to this question. The ICE agent's like, "No, we're just doing our job and everything's fine. We're just doing stuff that's like completely standard practice." And Dr. Phil's like, "Wow, even though I haven't had a medical license to practice psychology in over 40 fucking years, or something like that, that was really, really insightful information. Thank you." So yeah, that's pretty much it for that. Actually, I don't think that really went far in terms of things. I think Dr. Phil is honestly just trying to like keep the milk going. Like he's trying to keep milking the tea. That's I don't know what this is, but he's milking something, you know? He's milking something because, hey, it's Dr. Phil. You gotta give it to him. He's had a chokehold on the mothers of society with that time block. So right before you gotta pick up the kids. I gotta say, Dr. Phil was so fun if you were like homesick. Oh my god, Bella, did you ever watch Dr. Phil? No, she hasn't. She hasn't seen Dr. Phil. She probably wouldn't understand it, to be honest. Yeah, so in other news, we have actually a very, very sad thing. There was a Black Hawk helicopter crash with a commercial airplane. Yeah, it is really sad because it's like a lot of people, I think, died in this mid-air collision. It was between American Airlines plane, which was carrying 64 people. And then there was the military helicopter, and this was in Washington, D.C. No survivors. 0 survivors. Wow. My God. Yeah. President Donald Trump said the accident marked an hour of anguish. Just an hour of anguish? Okay. For the nation before blaming pilots, diversity, and Barack Obama. Yes, we're blaming DEI. What is that? Diversity, equity, and inclusion or something? I don't fucking know. Yeah, so he was blaming that when in reality, he put a freeze on hiring new air traffic control people, and we've been knowing that the flight systems, air traffic control, like there is an insufficient amount of people working, and I think we're in the wake of when a bunch of them were, man, what was it? I think right before Donald Trump was in office in December, a lot of them weren't even working with pay. They were on like back pay or whatever because there was some financial problems, I think. Anyway, let's read this. God, everyone aboard American Airlines jet is feared dead. Okay. Crash was on Wednesday. 60 passengers and 4 crew members. The Bombardier plane, operated by an American Airlines subsidiary, was approaching Reagan National Airport at around 9 p.m. Excuse me. Flying from Wichita, Kansas. And the Black Hawk was carrying 3 soldiers on a training flight. And it puts training flight in quotations. Okay. John Donnelly told press briefing that emergency crews totaling around 300 people were working in extremely tough conditions and gave little indication they expected anyone alive. At least 28 bodies so far have been recovered from the water. Oh my God. That's so sad. Yeah, there was US figure skating. US figure skating said several athletes, coaches, and officials were on board the flight. And officials in Moscow confirmed that there was a married Russian couple who won the 1994 World Pair title for ice skating, figure skating, whatever the fuck. Evgenia Shishkova and Vadim Nomov. What does that sound? Which, by the way, people in the brain rot comment section of TikTok were like, oh, they were honeypot spies. Oh, Evgenia Shishkova and Vadim Naumov, they were spies against the American people. That Black Hawk helicopter was saving us from a national threat. And it wasn't actually a training thing. It was they sacrificed themselves for us. Wow, we're really digging down like the whole of like conspiracy brain, like fucking hardcore with that one. Really? So in order to get rid of these honeypot spies, what the fuck even is a honeypot spy? No, I'm gonna look it up because I actually don't know, and I like to educate myself. Honeypot spy. I like to get educated on these things. Honey trapping? Honey trapping is a practice involving the use of romantic or sexual relationships for interpersonal, political, and monetary purpose. Okay. Maybe this is like a YouTube problem. Maybe this is a YouTube problem. Why do I say that? I feel like people have watched all these like videos where it's like real American spy goes on, like, talks about what Jason Bourne did and what's real and what's like realistic and shit. And people watch those things and they're like, holy shit, there's a fucking real American spy over there. Oh my fucking god. Like, okay. Okay. You know what I look like? I look like one of those zombies from The Sims 3. I would love to do a makeup look like that and just like show up one day and just not say anything about it. Ugh, I should do that. Okay, yeah, so I think that's kind of insane to be like, yeah, man, Mira, there's Russian spies. It's like, man, we've done some great propaganda in the world to think that, like, you hear a Russian and you're like, it's a spy. It's a spy. Yeah, okay. If there were Russian spies, then I'm the fucking Pope. Come on. Ugh. I think it's also incredibly insensitive because I think they have a son as well. Ugh. And it's like that this kid has lost both of his parents in one fell swoop. So, they may be Russian, but I mean, like, can we have some empathy for some things? I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe I'm being too charitable with that. I don't know. Alright, witness Ari Shulman was driving home when he saw what was described as a stream of sparks overhead. Initially, I saw the plane and it looked fine and normal. It was right about to head over land. Wow. 3 seconds later, and at that point it was banked all the way to the right. I could see the underside of it. It was lit up a very bright yellow and there was a stream of sparks underneath it. Looked like a Roman candle. Trump blames air traffic control, diversity, and Obama. Yeah, he took to social media to critique air traffic control. He says, the airplane was on a perfect routine line of approach to the airport. The helicopter was going straight to the airplane for an extended period of time. It is a clear night. The lights on the plane were blazing. Trump wrote in his Truth Social platform. He's still on Truth Social. He's still fucking repping the brand. Now that oh shit. Oh, sorry. Almost spilled all my coffee everywhere. Now that's fucking dedication. I honestly would have thought Truth Social would be like fucking Truth what? Truth Social what? But it's still kicking, so why the question is, why is he still on Truth Social when, like, I think he got off of Twitter because he was banned, right? And then he wanted to express himself the way he expresses himself, so he made a whole social media for it. But like, you can go to Twitter now, Donald Trump. Maybe he is on Twitter now. I don't know. I don't check that shit. Okay, so yeah, the lights on the plane were blazing, and he says, "Why didn't the helicopter go up or down or turn? Why didn't the control tower tell the helicopter what to do instead of asking if they saw the plane? This is a bad situation that looks like it should have been prevented. Not good!" Exclamation mark, exclamation mark, exclamation mark. Not good! I'm sorry, that was a terrible impression. It's been a while since I had to do my Trump impression, so. And it's like, everyone can do a Trump impression. Everyone can do one. It's like the most commodified impression. Well, okay, everyone can do a Jar Jar Binks impression. But in 2025, that might come off as very fucking racist. So, not gonna do that. Dude, if you wanted to do a Jar Jar impression, you'd have to literally be in makeup to do it, because it would just be like, what are you doing? Okay, Trump called the incident an hour of anguish, and changing tack to blame diversity policies under Barack Obama and Joe Biden for poor safety standards, even though he's the one who put a pause on, I think, funding and hiring? Okay. Trump then falsely accused his Democratic predecessors of discriminating against white people. So this is what is reminding me of, like, the neo-Nazi party in Australia marching and being like, we're just trying to tell the white man to be proud of being white and stuff. And it's like, I don't know. I don't know. It's the same when people are like, oh, you should be like proud to be a woman. Why aren't you proud to be a woman? And I'm like, who's saying I'm not proud to be a woman? I'm proud to be who I am, but I can be proud of who I am and also support people who are different to me. Like, I've been watching so much RuPaul's Drag Race, to be honest, and I've always liked RuPaul's Drag Race. I just think for the longest time I wasn't able to watch it because I just didn't have a I didn't have a streaming service for it. But I remember watching it when I was a teenager. Back then it was like super catty, super like this is like reality TV. And I watched one, I think I watched season 17 or season 16 recently. My god, it's just so beautiful in a way because, like, look, think what you will, but these people, whether they're trans or like just drag queens and stuff, they're like, a lot of them are gay and they do drag. They do drag or they're trans. And I think just like the way that a lot of them describe like what they go through, I think it's such an important thing to have perspective from different worldviews. And like, look, a lot of people will say that they just don't feel comfortable around trans people, and like, I think as a woman, I feel like I don't feel threatened by trans people, especially like people who are legit trans people. I'm not talking about like fucking Steven Crowder putting on a fucking Party City wig and waltzing into the bathroom. That being said, I do believe in including gender neutral bathrooms. I think we need it. I think gender neutral's fine. I think we can have 3 bathrooms. I don't know. I feel like that's fine. I don't think that's crazy. Surely we can put some of the fucking military fund into funding more bathrooms. I mean, yeah, at the end of the day, I don't care. And also, at the end of the day, if a dude wants to walk into my bathroom and, like, assault me, then they're just gonna do it. Like, they don't need to dress up and pretend to be a honeypot spy or whatever. They don't need to pretend to do anything. Dudes are just gonna do that. Am I wrong? Am I wrong? My co-host has left me. She's like, I'm not getting involved in this drama. Yeah, and I just think that it's like, why is it, oh, it's like, for me to be like, hey, Aboriginal people, Indigenous Australians, I recognize that you guys got fucked over and I would actually support, like, some form of reparations. I know that's also, like, controversial. And people look at that and they go, like, oh, well, they clutch their pearls and, like, reparations for what? What did we do? And it's like, well, I know I didn't personally do anything, but the damage that happened all those hundreds of years ago? It was feels like it was a long time ago. It's still affecting the Indigenous Australians, right? So, anyway, I don't know. There's like a whole bunch of complicated shit about that, but I'm not prepared to really talk about it today, but yeah, and I just think that for people to be marching being like, I'm proud to be white and stuff, it's like, well, no one's saying you don't have to be, but why does your version of being proud of who you are have to do with putting down people who are different to you? That part I don't understand, but it's a really interesting idea of like when the people who are on top, white men, sorry, the people who are on the top of the food chain of privilege. I know it sounds so 2015, and I didn't really believe a lot of this when I was a teenager because I was just like, oh, roll of the eyes. But it really is like once you start really learning so much about like the world and politically and looking at everything through a historical lens, you really do start to go, wow, there actually is like I'm sorry, but a lot of the Tumblr people were really fucking right. Where they cringe in the way that they said a lot of things, yeah. And, you know, I think sometimes people take things a little bit too, like, everything becomes serious. Like, people were talking about how different foundation colors have, like, when it comes to people of colors, like skin tone, like black skin tones and stuff, they're always labeled as like foods or food items. And you know, I remember some people were having problems with that. They were like, I'm so sick of being labeled as like a chocolate spice. I think that also had something to do with the way men would talk to them as well. They'd be like, I love your chocolate skin and stuff. Like, no one's going over to a white woman being like, yo, your white chocolate skin's fine, you know? So I guess there's like something there. Well, I mean, it's not up to me to be like, hey, that doesn't matter, but it's one of those things where I explain it as this. Once you start realizing the systems around you, once you start realizing, you know, after like Black Lives Matter and stuff, how like everything is just like intertwined in a really weird way, then it is hard to not look at things and be like, ah, I see that. It's the same with like, oh my god, I'm going on a fucking rant today. When I see people make sexual remarks to babies, it's so normalized. It's so normalized. And I'm like, how is sexualizing a baby this normalized? But like, it's like when you're like 5 years old and you're like your dad's friends come over and they're like, she's gonna have trouble when she's older. Guys are gonna be knocking on her door when she's older. Or like, I don't know. And then like when some relatives see like you have a son and they like see your son's like baby pee-pee and they're like, he's gonna have a hog when he's older. It's like, do not talk about my child like that. Don't talk about my child like that. Like, if that happened to me, bye. I'm never talking to you again. I'm just never talking to you again. And it's so normalized. You look at like kids' clothes and baby bibs will have like writing being like heartbreaker or womanizer. How are you calling your fucking like 2-week-old baby a womanizer? I don't know if they're wearing bibs at 2 weeks old, okay, but you get what I'm saying, right? It's insane. It's insane. But it's like you start seeing all these things and you start going, oh, this is like a really normalized thing from like the fucking 50s that we haven't grown out of. Or when people paint like the nursery pink because they're having a girl, it's like, ah, yes, these are like societal things that we haven't grown out of. Anyway, so yeah, so that I don't know how we started talking about that, but we did. So yeah, the helicopter crash, it's very sad. I mean, the amount of people, every single plane crash is fucking sad, man. It really is. And there's been a lot of them happening lately. Yeah, so Donald Trump is alleging that the Democrats, they actually came out with a directive too white. And we want the people that are competent, Trump said. When questioned, Trump admitted there was no evidence diversity was responsible for the collision. It just could have been, he insisted. Bro is the king of, I don't know if that's true, but hey, could be. Look it up. I sure haven't. Wow. Yeah, so in fact, Biden signed a sweeping $105 billion aviation safety bill last year that increased air traffic staffing funding to avert runway close calls. And then Trump last week fired the heads of the Transportation Security Administration and the Coast Guard and eliminated all the members of the Aviation Security Advisory Committee. I didn't know it was that bad. And just a week after that, this has happened? Wow, are we going to be seeing like way more of this now because of all this? I don't know. It's possible. Hold on, let me just write down that I'm continuing the Black Hawk. minutes. Black Hawk continued. Okay. Wow. Okay. The Aviation Security Committee will technically continue to exist, AP reported, but it won't have any members to carry out the work of examining safety issues at airlines and airports. That's scary. After the crash on Thursday, Trump said he was appointing former senior aviation official Chris Rocheleau as acting head of Federal Aviation Administration. Okay. Crowded airspace. It was unclear how a passenger plane with a modern collision avoidance technology and nearby traffic controllers could collide with a military aircraft over the nation's capital. Yeah, it's concerning. In DC, I mean, you'd hope that was like... Let's see. The airspace around Washington, D.C. is often crowded with planes coming in lower over the city to land at Reagan Airport. Okay. So there's a lot of buzzing about because they're carrying politicians and officials and yada yada. The same airport was the scene of a deadly crash in January 1982 when an Air Florida Flight 90. I have never heard of Air Florida before, wow. A Boeing 737 took off but quickly plummeted, hitting the 14th Street Bridge and crashing through the ice into the Potomac River. 78 people died. Wow. Investigators concluded the pilot had failed to activate sufficient de-icing procedures. And then the last major fatal US air incident was 2009, when Continental Flight 3407 from New Jersey to Buffalo, New York crashed and killed all 49 people on board. And that's that for that story. Alright. Yeah, my condolences go out to all people affected. It's just so sad, man. It's just so sad. I was hearing some people talk about how their parents will have rules where they don't take like the same plane or they don't take the same car because if there's a possibility that you could die, then they'd like for the other person to be alive or something. Or like for the kids, right? Because to lose both your parents at once is like, what the fuck? It's an interesting rule. Me personally, I'd probably want to die with my partner. Yeah. I mean, that's my opinion now, but I just don't think I'd want to be alive, you know what I'm saying? But that's just me. Okay. Oh, my mic has so many powers to move my stupid tripod. I really need to get a new stand. My stand is broken as hell. Alright, so we are going to talk about DeepSeek, also known as the reason ChatGPT loses her job. Now, this is from Al Jazeera News. And as you may know, the release of China's DeepSeek AI fucked the stock market so much. Although I think it was just like a very temporary thing. Basically, it made people realize, holy shit, we can actually do like a ChatGPT like AI for like way cheaper than what ChatGPT is running. And according to this news article, it is because Joe Biden's administration signed into order to sell China weaker chips because they probably wanted to keep the strong chips for America themselves and to limit China's ability to, I guess, advance technologically with AI. Because you need chips, you need processing power, you need a lot of tech. So that being said, it's not like China didn't have any access to high-powered chips. They just had a very limited access to them. They could probably get them from other places and even manufacture some of them themselves, but it seems like America is kind of like the main maker of them. Don't quote me on that. Don't know. But yeah, so it's interesting that America was trying to limit China's access to them. And so I won't say in retaliation, but China basically went, well, okay, if we have to deal with these shitty chips or these like weaker chips, we're going to work around it. So what China did, or like DeepSeek did, is they went and they tried to tweak their systems so that it could run on these like little tiny chips and stuff. Yeah. Wait, let me find the thingamabob. In their research paper, DeepSeek's engineers said they had used about 2,000 NVIDIA H800 chips, which are less advanced than the most cutting-edge chips trainers model. And then the team said it utilized multiple specialized models working together to enable slower chips to analyze data more efficiently. There you go. For the US government, DeepSeek's arrival on the scene has raised questions about its strategy of trying to contain China's AI advances by restricting exports of high-end chips. DeepSeek's research paper suggests that either the most advanced chips are not needed to create high-performing AI models, or that Chinese firms can still source chips in sufficient quantities, or a combination of both. So it is pretty, I don't want to say revolutionary because I feel like that's it's a very loaded word, but it is like, wow, so it costs like, I think ChatGPT is like cost 12 million or like billion or something, like so much money. And then DeepSeek's AI cost like 6 million. Like very, very little compared to ChatGPT. Now, I think one of the interesting things about DeepSeek is that it's open source. It's free for like anyone to grab. Open source means I think that the code is like open to everyone. Everyone can look at the code, everyone can read it, everyone can take like the repo of it, I think, and then like make their own edits to it. They've really just commodified it. Like they've made it accessible to everyone. Whereas ChatGPT was very like, ChatGPT is ours, and it's a secret little thing that we're not going to give away because it's special. And then China's like, bet. Okay. Yeah, so let's see. While there have been restrictions on China's ability to obtain GPUs, that's graphics cards, China still has managed to innovate and squeeze performance out of whatever they have. Yeah. I think it is a lesson to US companies that there's still a lot of performance they can squeeze out of. Yeah, I think it's really cool how we can like if you look at like the way like old PlayStations used to be able to run games on like 12 or 24 megabytes of data and the kind of things that you could make with that. And like the innovation that came in making video games because like the limitations you had to work with. It's really so fascinating to think about. And I think that yeah, it just goes to show that like America or like any place can be like, okay, we're gonna try and limit this other place's abilities of doing things, and they're like, we're gonna figure out a way around it. And I think in that way, it also opens up the technology to more innovation and go, oh, maybe this like technology we have is actually we can squeeze out more of it. Whereas I feel like American companies are like, yeah, we get access to all the fucking great technologies. It's just like, let's make a fucking Call of Duty that is like 100 fucking gigabytes of fucking space, and God forbid you want to be a PlayStation player because you can have like 2 games installed at once. My God. How do you do it? How do you do it, console players? I don't understand. If I had to uninstall a game and reinstall another game every single time I wanted to do something, granted, that might be more of like an older, like PS4 problem instead of like PS5, but whatever. Oh yeah. My only hope that the attention given to this announcement will foster greater intellectual interest in the topic and further expand the talent pool, and last but not least, increase both private and public investment in AI research in the US. Yeah. And And then there's a lot of speculation around like the AI race and who's winning. Some people saying DeepSeek's AI is a lot cooler than, excuse me, ChatGPT's. I use both of them, and I don't really see that much of like a great difference. I still think DeepSeek talks kind of just like ChatGPT, if I'm being honest. But I mean, the commodification of it is pretty fucking cool. I think that allow, like, look, can you ask DeepSeek about Tiananmen Square? No, but I think that it just has censorships when it's working on China's servers, and take it, if you like take DeepSeek and put it on your computer, if some people want to do that, it is open source. So if you're worried about Chinese spyware, I don't know. I don't know. I haven't read it. Okay, but yeah, if you think about that, you can probably get it, put it on your PC, and then those censorships probably gone. But I mean, who needs to ask fucking DeepSeek about Tiananmen Square anyway? Why would you want to ask an AI about that stuff anyway? It's like, ChatGPT, what do you think about what's going on in Ukraine at the moment? I'm not gonna ask ChatGPT about that. Okay, and then yada yada yada. Let's see. DeepSeek made its best model available for free use. On the other hand, OpenAI's best model is not free. So most people who use ChatGPT for free are shocked by DeepSeek and believe there is a huge jump in capabilities when OpenAI has had a similar performing model paywalled for a few months already. This paywalling of frontier AI models leads to people not truly grasping the progress and capabilities of AI. Ah, okay. I think that's Sam. That is Abraham. Abraham said that? Oh yeah, Abraham, the former research director at Stability AI. So the perceptions might be skewed by that fact. Yeah, so the most advanced OpenAI models are not free for use for the public. But DeepSeeks are. I mean, I don't know. I've heard a lot of people saying that they pay for ChatGPT. They use the premium service, and a lot of people saying they're not really that happy with it, and are gonna be getting rid of their subscriptions and just going over to DeepSeek. Yeah. Yeah, so that's kind of what that is about. And you know what? I love when we get some good old fashioned competition. I love some good old fashioned competition in the world. Yeah. That being said, I feel like I kind of called this. I kind of called it on my stream. Dude, I had someone, because I'm a digital artist and I stream in the digital art category, some people will trowel through it thinking like, oh, I'm looking for someone to have like a discussion about AI with, about AI art or some shit. And it's like, no, you're just looking for someone to confirm your bias. Let's be real. Let's be real, because yeah, people would love to find a digital artist like me and hear someone like me say like, oh yeah, AI art's great. AI art is like so good for like society and for like artists. Like oh, the artists just don't get it. It's just like when the camera was invented. Everyone thought the camera was gonna somehow replace physical painting. Like, yeah, that makes sense. And look, there are a lot of artists trying to make AI work for them in some ways. I just I think where it is at the current moment, and everyone keeps saying, oh, it's going to get so much better. A lot of people don't understand how it actually works. A lot of people do not understand how generative AI works. The same with LLMs like ChatGPT. A lot of people don't understand how that works. And it shows. And it really fucking shows. Listen, I think that, yeah, some people make the AI art work for them and they'll do like painting over of it and stuff. I feel like I don't mind having AI as like an idea creator. Like you're using it to come up with an idea for something. I feel like I can kind of get behind that in a way, you know? As someone who, like, ironically, I feel like I'm not that creative in some ways and that I have trouble coming up with ideas for things. I don't know, but yeah, so I can totally see it as like a jumping off point, but to use in your main stuff, it's like, I don't love it. And I've tried to make it a part of my process because, yeah, sometimes I think about it and I think, like, look, the world's changing and sometimes, you know, you need to get with the picture. But I keep trying with the AI stuff and it's just like, it's not great. Even if you use like AI as like a reference for your own art, every single piece of AI art that I've tried to reference for like my own art, like for example, you take the pose and you're like, okay, I want to draw this pose. Like midway through drawing it, and then the more you look at it and the more you study these pieces, you go, holy shit, everything is like a weird perspective. Like a face and a neck is going to be totally weird perspective, and then you're going to look at like the background perspective is completely fucking wonkers. It's Willy Wonka. And then you look at like some limbs and you're like, oh shit, that is a fucked up limb. But it's so weird because you look at it at first glance and it's like, it looks fine. Seriously, it's like a massive catfish. And the amount of times I look at these works and I think, oh yeah, it's kind of nice. And then you see like some monstrously big error with like, I don't know, extra elbows and stuff. It's still happening. It's still happening. It's not gone away. Like people like, they fixed fingers, but it's still kind of Frankensteining art together. It's like, yeah. But I guess the race is to get like a sentient AI. I think that's like the end goal for companies, right? You get a sentient AI that can reason, or whatever the fuck, instead of just like numbers mishmashing ones and fives together, categorizing like one thing as one number. It's like with ChatGPT. Every single string of letters is just a number that is assembled together. Anyway. Yep. So I mean like that's kind of like my take on it. I don't think AI is good for art at all. Um I think it's cool for like memes and stuff. I think that's fucking funny. I think you can generate some really funny stuff like trail cam footage of Mario and Gandalf or something. I like that. I think that's cool. I like because it's the kind of stuff that it's like I wouldn't dedicate my time towards making it, but I'd love to see it. Like I remember one time I drew a buff Teemo from League of Legends, and I was just like, this is a lot of work to put in for a joke. Or like I drew a pregnant minion. Don't ask me why. I drew a pregnant minion from League of Legends, and again, it was like, this is a lot of work for not a lot of payoff. So yeah, and you know, there's something to be said about like the depth of realism you can get with these things. And it's like, you know what, I can appreciate that. I feel like it has its place with some stuff. I don't think it's, I mean, if we're gonna forget about the amount of electricity and amount of like what is it, water also that like, or like the amount of emissions that even, sorry, excuse me, that come out of actually using these AIs, if we're gonna forego that, oh, it's cool, it is cool, but it's so hard to even like these days I feel like I can't really ask ChatGPT anything anymore because I'm just so, every single time I look at it I just think about the climate. I think about the amount of resources wasted on a single question, a single generation. Because Curtis Connor actually did a really great video about AI and how costly it is to the environment. And I think it's something that a lot of people are kind of just glossing over. A lot of people ignore the fact that it's costly to the world. So, it's a really grim thing to look at. And I think yeah, even though I can limit my use of like AI and shit, I just know that most people aren't doing that. Most people are not even thinking about it. The majority of people have like essays to write, they have equations to figure out, and the easiest thing to do is to ask ChatGPT about it. So, I just don't love that. I don't love that aspect. And it's like it's so hard to find like actual real work now because if you go on Pinterest, it's like everything is just AI. So much of it is AI and it's still very fucking easy to figure out. It just has that AI stank to it. It's so easy to see that. So, yeah, I don't know. It's like what do we do about it? What do we do about it? Yeah. It's sad, but we move on. The world moves on. The stock market crashed. I don't think it crashed. I think it just had like a dip. I think it's all probably back up again anyway. All right, let's do some closing out stuff. Man, my cursor is like fucked up today. What the fuck? 51? Let's have a look at Twitter and see what's going on. I know, oh yeah, wait. I totally forgot. Oh my god. Jimmy Elon Musk did a Nazi salute. I'm like lost on the story for this one, so I'm not gonna go on about it, but all I have to say is if you're not prepared to do that in public, then case closed. If you're not prepared to do that on screen, forget about it. Yeah, so everyone's talking about Trump being a national disgrace. Oh, by the way, there is a website where you can track Donald Trump's golfing, how many days he goes to golf. Let me see if I can find it. Donald Trump golfing tracker. Did I spell golfing right? Golf News Net? No, I don't think this is it. No, I don't think this is it. This is like some golf newspaper. What the fuck? Who the fuck has a newspaper for just golf? Okay, you know what? Actually, that makes sense. Damn, okay. I can't find it, but I heard on TikTok there's a website tracking how many times Donald Trump goes to like the golf course. And then it also gives you like a percentage of his presidency. Obviously, he just became inaugurated, so at the moment it's like 37% of his presidency has been spent golfing. It could go down though, because it's only the start. I'm looking forward to seeing how it looks at the end of the year though. That's gonna be interesting. And it might be good, it might be bad. Oh my god, we're having such a political episode today. Yeah, RFK. God. RFK. What do we say about RFK? Yeah. Bernie Sanders asked, should the US guarantee healthcare to all people as a human right? RFK said, I can't give you a yes or no answer. Why is like healthcare such like a controversial thing? Why is everyone so worried about the taxes of that? You know? I just don't get it. I really don't get it. I'm so glad that we have Medicare in Australia. I mean, it's definitely politicians are definitely trying to gut it more at the moment. But it's like, what even do politicians care about Medicare? They have so much money, and it's not in the best interest of the people because literally your best interest is your health, right? So why wouldn't you want to pay for funding your healthcare? There are some people who have opinions of like, oh, I haven't been to the doctor in like 10 years. Why do I have to pay for Medicare? Why do I have to pay for someone else going to Medicare? And it's like, well, you might not have been to the doctors in 10 years, but there's going to be a time where you need to go to the doctor and you won't have to pay for it. I mean, it's also not like a thing where you're like, oh, I'm investing in Medicare because I use it a lot. That's not, that's also like, that just doesn't make sense to me either. I don't know. I think that, if we keep talking about supporting like a society of like more and more people, sorry, but that does kind of involve the healthcare of people too. Like, what's the point in women having children? What's the point in having many kids if we don't support that? I don't know. Like, we need to support our communities, and healthcare is kind of a way of doing that, isn't it? I mean, that's the way I see it, right? Like, it's not, you're not even supporting it for like immigrants and stuff either, because immigrants don't even get access to that shit unless they're a citizen. So it's like you're and like I'm just saying that because some people are like, I don't want to support immigrants. Why should I help them when they haven't helped me, even though they contribute millions to the economy, and they don't get any tax benefits ever or any benefits at all. Oh my god, it's like, yeah. So I just think that I'm fine paying taxes for Medicare. I don't go to Medicare. I don't use it that often, but hey, you know what the worst part about taxing is the amount of money is taxed off your income. I think people should be focusing way more on how much the government taxes your income than a fucking levy for universal healthcare. Because like if you look at it, the amount of money that you pay for universal healthcare, it's peanuts compared to your taxed income. It really fucking is. But people are just like, I don't know. It's like people just latch on to some non-issue and make it into like a fucking what do they call it? Making a worm, making an ant hill out of a molehill or something. I hope that came across the right way. Making a molehill out of an anthill? I don't know. I don't know, but yeah, it's fucking stupid. It really is. And it's like, I feel like it's so easy to see like through this shit, but like people just don't want to see it. And this is why they're gutting the education system. This is exactly why Donald Trump at the moment is trying to limit as much funding as possible. This is why JD Vance says that education professors are the enemy. It's insane. So, with that being said, guys, 2024 has come to an end. Welcome to 2025. I'll be here all throughout to give you your news. Oh yeah, okay, by the way, one other final thing I want to talk about. Blake Lively and Baldoni news. I don't know if I'll be doing a part 2 to that. I know I said I might. At the moment, I'm kind of like, the video didn't do too well. Let's be honest. It didn't do too well, so I don't know if that was a problem with my thumbnail. I don't know if it was a problem with my title. I don't know if it was a problem with the way I just generally presented it. I don't know if the length was an issue. I don't know, I feel like some people like longer videos. I mean, there's definitely a demand for it, right? It could have been a whole slew of things. Or it could just be that people are really fucking tired of that topic. Anyway, more stuff has come out with it. Some interesting things, but I do think it is still one of those things where it's like, well, until we get some concrete stuff, it's still kind of like, I guess they're both kind of fucking weird. And, I'm gonna die. At the moment, I'm on this hill where I'm like, look, I'm not on a hate train for Blake Lively. I'm not. I'm not. I also don't think, whatever, I'm not getting into it, but yeah, so I might do a part 2 later on down the track. I'm not sure. Maybe not. I just think that, yeah, because there wasn't that much of a demand for it. It's like, eh. There's no real point going too deep into the source for the time being. So, but hey, if you want a part two, if you're actually interested, let me know. Commenting is free. And with that being said, I'll bid you adieu, and I hope you have as good of a day as you can, considering everything we went through today in the pod. Look, we're gonna be fine. We're gonna get through this. It's just one of those things. And if you need to avoid the news, then maybe do that. Which might mean avoiding my podcast. So I don't know. Maybe don't do that. Actually, maybe just watch me instead. All right. Okay. Goodbye. Look after yourself and take it easy. Okay. All right. Bye.